Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
We are creating conscious community by sharing mindful manifesting skills and transcendental music.
We are all in this together. There was a boy, a very strange enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, a magic day, he passed my way. And while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Aham prema, 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 aham prema. Aham prema, 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 aham prema. Aham prema, 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 aham prema. I am divine love. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved.
Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio.
She's Jalen.
And he's Monte.
And here we are. The infinite present moment.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Thank goodness.
Believe it or not.
Because otherwise I thought it was November.
Well, it is November, but just in the present. And that's just that's a very human just construct.
Yeah.
The November thing.
Yeah. I think it's seasonal too. You know, the leaves are pretty much out of the trees.
Yeah.
It's cold out if you're in the north.
Well, it's getting colder. It is.
For us southern gals, it's cold out.
All right.
Got the winter coat out and all that good stuff. Yeah. But the cool thing about November is Thanksgiving.
You mean being thankful?
Well, yeah, it's the one time a year that everyone thinks about gratitude for a little bit.
Yeah, at least they ponder it, maybe. Not everybody, though.
Yeah.
Some people
Thanksgiving
just can't.
Has been one of my favorite holidays for many years, but like all holidays, for me, even Thanksgiving has been tainted with trauma. So
there you
be
go.
it. I still try to be thankful.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, I try to be thankful every day, even though maybe I don't reflect that.
How do you try and be thankful? What do you say?
Well, in Qigong, the kidneys stand for, like in the negative, like depleted kidneys are a reflection of too much fear.
All right.
And to help the kidneys get back to homeostasis, you use gratitude. So I do try to use gratitude every day, try to help my kidneys out.
Okay. How's it working for you?
Well, all I can say is we don't want to know what it's like if I don't try to use any gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude is a helpful mind state.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's a helpful mind state at overcoming just like feeling sorry for myself or being worried.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, at least it takes the edge off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like what the manifesting teachers talk about, how gratitude is the state of receivership. That's Dr. Joe Dispenza's line. Receivership. So you're receiving and then you're grateful, but if you're grateful, then you receive.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I remember, I think Abraham Hicks said you had to hold a state of gratitude for 16 or 17 seconds to begin the manifesting process.
Well, that's nice. That's good to know. Yeah, every morning, basically, 98% of the mornings when I'm stepping out of bed, I'm saying great, or I'm saying thank you.
What are you saying?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. As I'm walking down the hallway, I'm saying thank you. Because I notice if I don't say thank you at that point, the old habits of just having a whiny mind take over.
Mm-hmm.
And I start just feeling sorry for myself right away in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got so much to do. Oh, my head hurts. Oh, my back hurts.
Oh, getting old is difficult, y'all.
Well, I mean, I had that whiny voice in my mind for many years.
Yeah, I used to pop out of bed and be like, okay, what do I got to do? That was more my thing. It wasn't like, until I hurt my shoulder. I was pretty much like, pop out of bed. What do I got to do?
Okay. Well,
now I pop out of bed and go, oh, I'm so glad I get to meditate.
Okay.
Because that's what I do now. As soon as I get out of bed, I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and meditate. And it is such a gift to give myself. I look forward to it every day. I do not miss it. And I'm trying to add back in Qigong because Qigong is another one. Like we did Qigong today together and it was just so great. I was like,
Yeah.
Why do I struggle to do this? I don't get it. I absolutely love it. I love the feeling afterwards. Like, it helps my body feel better. It helps my head feel better.
Yeah.
What's the big deal? Why do I ho-hum about this? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes the things that are best for us are the things we resist the most. Maybe it's just that negative side of our mind, like not wanting to change.
Mm-hmm.
So it convinces us not to do things that are really beneficial for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all have that negative side to us. You know, it's like the Indian saying about the two wolves. And which one are we going to feed? We're going to feed the positive one or the negative one?
Yeah.
You know, but if the negative one is in charge, it's going to convince us not to do things that are good for us, essentially.
I feel like how that works for me is the negative one just takes what it wants, and I have to consciously feed the positive one.
Well, yeah. I mean, because I think we live in a world that's kind of dominated in some ways by fear and guilt and greed and lust and hatred and resentment.
Judgment.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at our phones, for example, a lot of the news, et cetera, is just like based on those kind of energies. And then on top of it, everybody's trying to sell us something. Mm-hmm. So there's scamming going on all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and the government's taking money and spending it on war and yada, you know. It's
there's
like
so much wrong going on in the world.
It's true, but there's a lot of right things too.
Yeah.
And that don't get amplified necessarily through the news.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of beautiful things happening, a lot of progress being made in a lot of different fields. And
I love where you're going with this because this kind of leads into, for those of you that know, one of the new things that Monte and I are doing is we pull a medicine card before a show and think about how we can weave it into the message. And today we pulled the turkey card, which is about giveaway. And it's about giving without the need to receive. And that selfless giving and being of service to the world and the culture and the family and the community. And that's what we need right now. That's the energy that our whole world needs each of us to do individually so that we can pull this around, turn this ship around.
Well, maybe not each of us, but
as many of us as possible.
Yeah. And just in our minds, having that kind of philosophy.
Yeah.
Instead of like just scanning to see what you can get.
Yeah. I know Deepak Chopra, when asked, what is our purpose? He said, how can you serve?
Yeah, that's how you find your dharma. How can you best improve humanity, essentially? What skills do you have to serve humanity?
And that's an interesting one because I always, in my adult life, I have prepared for the apocalypse twice already. And I always end up going, I have nothing to give. Like that's where my mind goes because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not, I'm disabled from gardening and farming now. And I've just got all these, I don't have the ability to offer my body to be of labor or, my intelligence isn't going to serve anyone. Although Monte always says, you help people with mental health. And I'm like, does that matter when you're in the middle of an apocalypse?
Well, of course it matters. And it's a way of not having the apocalypse happen. You know?
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, in giving and just saying that song that you just sang, that was you giving to the world. Everybody who listened to that and liked it, they received a gift from you. So that's one way to give. I mean, that's part of your dharma, I would argue,
It's funny because it's like, for me, it feels like not worthy, because is it going to really help somebody survive? If somebody's in survival mode, is me singing going to make a difference?
Well, let me put it this way. And I know in our culture has a hard time realizing this, but vibration is everything. And if you can help raise the vibration somehow, you're helping the world. And by, I would argue that song helped raise the vibration in that moment for, some of the listeners. So, that's
awesome.
That's the most you can do to save the world, is raise the vibration.
Do the best of what you do best at.
Well, right. And to feel bad that you can't dig in the dirt. I mean, that's a lot of people are good at that. That's their dharma.
Able to do that. I guess that's why, because it's like, well, I used to be able to do that, and I'm really good at growing things, but I can't do it anymore. So I guess I'm still in the grieving of not having the use of both arms.
Well, from one way of looking at it is you have this entire reality in front of you, but you're focusing on what you can't do instead of what you can do.
You got me there.
And so that's kind of like the challenge. That's the mind training, because in reality, we all have positive and negative aspects to our lives. And wherever we shine our attention, we grow that vibration.
Yeah.
So your attention is like a spotlight. And if you shine it on everything you can't do that you used to be able to do, you're just going to feel worse.
That explains some things.
But if you shine it on what you can do and what you're good at, and then you just grow that.
Yeah. Just do what you can do and not regret or remorse. Yeah.
Well, you can have some regret, but I mean, to focus on the negative primarily is it's not a real good formula for happiness or raising the vibration. You're talking about helping the world.
Yeah, totally. And if my part is that I meditate throughout the day and do my best to elevate my neighborhood, then I guess that's what I do, and I just do that.
And just be kind to those around you, including yourself.
Yeah. It's been interesting. I don't know who was paying attention to the eclipses, but between October 14th and October 28th was very intense for a lot of people. And I noticed it in my work and in my daily life and in my friends and my family. And it was just like, what is going on with humanity? It really feels like we're being called to step up and step out of what is it called when there's something that the overarching theme wants you to believe, but then you have to step away from it and think for yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what each of us are being faced with. And what I noticed is every single person that I talked to that was having a hard time, it was very individual to their greatest hell. Whatever their greatest hell was what they were going through. And same with myself. And we all have our own worst hell. And my hell may look like a joke to you. And your hell might look like a cakewalk for me. But it doesn't matter what the other person thinks of your hell. You're going through it. So just stepping out of that, doing what you can. And I know we're out of it now, so hopefully you're feeling better now. I know I'm feeling better-ish. And it's how to, as you told me, it takes a while to turn a ship around. And it's how do we be patient as the ship turns around? How do we focus on how we are of service to humanity without expectation of return? Or, I can be the peace. I can attempt to be the peace. In my mind, I can be as peaceful to myself and to my surroundings as possible. But that does not assure me or guarantee me that the world will find peace. But it is of greater, it is a greater chance that the world will have peace if I find peace in my mind.
Yes. I mean, and another way of looking at that is if we don't find peace,
then we're feeding the war.
Well, yeah, then we're part of the problem.
Right.
Because we're at war. We're at war with ourselves. We're at war with those around us. Just energetically, you know, and then, yeah, at that point, we're just feeding that collective energy of war, which it seems to be a good time for us to actually work against that consciously.
Yeah.
You know, and to do what we can to be part of the solution rather than the problem.
Yeah. It's so key. And supporting each other in that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of being of service. You know?
Well, and for me, that kind of means just finding moments of peace in my mind throughout the day. So I find moments where my mind is quiet. Because if my mind is not quiet, I just naturally feel agitated.
Yeah.
Or just unhappy.
I had a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. A shout out to Vicky. Her and I do a lot of drum journeying together, meditating together, trying to help each other grow and evolve and be better people. And she had this vision of me and her in the void as globes of light or orbs of light. And every time I meditate now, ever since then, I don't even remember, I think that was after the first eclipse. I vision this darkness, this void, which all the teachers that I follow talk about. You have to get in the void to meditate properly, basically. Like you have to go into that place where you lose your identity, you drop your identity. You are just this being and you're just there. And so I go to this place of blackness and then I imagine that I'm this orb of colorful light just floating in the blackness and kind of not blissful, not joyful, but that, I guess, blissful, joyful kind of feeling, like I'm just floating, this colorful orb of light there in the blackness. And that's the place that we want to be when we're meditating, that no thought, that emptiness that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I lost him for a second. Guess I was on a monologue.
Yeah, no. I mean, my meditation's a lot different than yours. So it's hard for me to relate to that, I guess. I mean, for me, I'm trying to just optimize my breathing and just be as present as possible in the moment.
Okay.
You know, that's kind of more my style. But
I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those.
No.
I do, from what I understand about manifestation, is that there is this dropping of identity that has to happen. And if you're getting to that dropping of identity by being super present, like that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Maharaj, you know, a great yoga teacher says that the way to manifest is to simply just find that stillness in the mind. Now, when your mind is completely still, he says that unleashes spiritual forces that support you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been trying to do.
Cool.
You know, I mean, and it's easier said than done, actually. But the human mind is designed to have moments of stillness. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of us in our culture, we tend to overthink. We tend to think way too much. In our mental diet, we ingest too much data, and that doesn't help at all. But the bottom line is we think too much. There's no stillness, not enough stillness in our minds. Our minds get super agitated because they're not designed to be computers. But our minds get agitated, and then what do we do with that agitation? We blame others for it. Mm-hmm. That's the trend.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it, I believe. Mm-hmm. So if we learn to just take responsibility for our own minds, and when I'm feeling agitated, knowing, oh, I'm thinking too much. Primarily. Of course, there's going to be times when there's a real crisis, and my mind's going to get charged up. Mm-hmm. But living my day-to-day life that way is not helpful. Mm-hmm. And I want to manifest positive things in my life, so I know I need to find that stillness.
Yeah,
I know totally. I need that. And
and the stillness is the void. I mean, at least in Qigong, that's what they talk about too, is it's this, you're standing, usually moving slowly, breathing, focusing on energy in the body. And as that happens, then your identity just melts away.
Well, that's it.
And then you're just this movement of energy breathing, and then you're in the void, or you're in the stillness. Even though you're moving, but your mind is not moving anymore.
No, it's still. Yeah, and you can call that the flow state or the zone. Mm-hmm. I mean, great athletes get there, great musicians get there just naturally. Mm-hmm. Some people get there naturally, but a lot of us have to train to get there. Mm-hmm. But it's so worthwhile, and it's one of the keys to mental wellness. And I speak as a mental health therapist, where one of the keys to psychological empowerment is to have the ability to find that stillness. Mm-hmm. Especially when there's difficult times happening and our minds are ruminating.
Ruminating's no fun. That's a hamster wheel, if you don't know what rumination is.
Yeah, it's like you have an issue and you just keep thinking about it over and over and over and over and over and over. And then your mind gets agitated because you're overthinking. And then the typical thing is to blame others. Mm-hmm. But catch yourself in that. And when you find yourself ruminating, try and just find some stillness. How do you suggest people find stillness, Jai?
I was thinking that we could complete talking about the service to others, play a song, and then do our rapid fire skills section.
Okay. Yeah, service to others. For me, if I can walk into a store with a still mind, with a fairly still mind, I'm doing service to everybody in that store. Because I think it helps raise the vibration just slightly. I think people feel it. Just conversely, if I walk into a store and I'm all agitated, people feel that too.
Yeah, they do.
I've witnessed we feel that. Energy. Yeah.
We do feel energy. It's very interesting. And I've also seen, like, our neighbor is the kindest soul. He's always helping everyone. Yeah. Literally. And sometimes I just wonder if I could ever be that kind. He's amazing. I'm so grateful he's my neighbor. And,
he's a great teacher.
Yeah.
In that way.
And to think if we all did things like that, he's a great representation of the giveaway spirit. Like, he just gives to people with no expectation of return. And to me, that's a difficult concept. Monte and I, before we started recording, we're like, how do we even talk about this? Like, it's a difficult one, and giveaway, to give without expectation of receiving, to be of service, to transcend the need to manipulate, like the card saying that if you have an expectation or a need to receive something in return, that's considered manipulation. Whether you agree or not, that's not really, it's not a debate. This is something we read and decided to discuss, and that is just a very difficult concept for me. That's how I parented. Oh, you want this? Okay, well, do this for me, and then you get this. That was how I parented. That's how I trained my boys, and it's maybe with kids it's different. I don't know, but it's hard for me to even fathom giving without expectation to receive. I mean, even in the idea of if you live your life with the idea of karma and you're like, well, I'm going to give this, but I know that that will go into my karma and I'll get it back someday. Is that the same thing? I guess it's what goes through my mind is it the same thing to do something in expectation of karma coming back to you? Is that considered quote unquote manipulation, or is that more giving without expectation?
Well, it's interesting. One way to frame that is if I'm giving in that very moment of giving, in that very moment, maybe I feel better. Mm-hmm. So like walking through the store feeling good, for example, is giving to everyone around me, essentially. So maybe there's this thing of instant karma, but if I'm doing something with the expectation that's going to come back to me in a year or 6 months.
Or your next life. I mean,
yeah, right.
We have no control over karma coming back, what time and when, and how. But
I think it is a good concept, and I think it is accurate. And for me, I do keep it in mind when it comes to my behavior. I guess I try.
So you think that's kind of in alignment with the idea of giving without expectation?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, when I'm driving the car, I try not to be a jerk, I guess. Because,
okay. Me too.
But I don't always achieve it. But I mean, in the back of my mind, there's this karmic thing going on, I guess.
Okay.
And I just try and treat people like I want to be treated.
Yeah.
So, but that's, I don't know.
Yeah. So I do want to cover the previous song. I'm sure that if you've been a long time listener of our show, you've heard it before, but it's called Nature Boy. It was originally made famous by Nat King Cole. And the chorus, I just want to go over the chorus one more time. And it's the greatest thing you'll ever learn is how to love and be loved in return. And that is a very interesting concept. And the mantra that we put on there was Aham Prema, and it means I am divine love. And if you are a chanter, I am divine love, Aham Prema, it can really line you up with the divine love of the universe. So it kind of molds the mindset into the giveaway, the giving of self, service to others for the sake of divine love. And I think that that's a very meaningful concept of we are human, we are animal, and we are divine. So we can connect with the animal, is the primal, the urges, the needs, the fight, flight, all that. The human has the ability to think and conceive of ideas and plans, think of the future, make goals, aim.
Invent things.
Yep. And the divine is witnessing the interconnection of all things. Yeah. Me with you, me with the neighborhood, me with the community, me with the world, me with the stars.
Yeah, oneness.
So we are all these things.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. I mean, and it's interesting because in terms of giving, I believe that just if I can view others from the perspective that they're divine beings, I think that's giving.
Right.
I'm giving them that.
Or you're giving the world good energy.
Well, yeah.
Or the lack of judgment.
Yeah. I mean, we're trained to judge others, basically. And in doing so, we end up judging ourselves as well, But if I can see others as just having a temporary human experience, the divine spark within everybody,
Mm-hmm.
then I think I'm giving myself a gift because I feel better,
Right.
and I'm giving them a gift because I'm not like hating on them or
Right.
you know?
Totally.
And just even if even if I think they're messed up, it's not like I want to hang out with them all the time, but I'll give them. I still won't take away that idea that they're a divine being, because that's the good news is we all have that spark of the divine within us, I believe, but the bad news is we're all confused to a certain extent. All of us, really. And if we can just be humble and see that in each other, and perhaps that's a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think another gift that we give ourselves is to really check our worry. Like, are we worrying too much? Are we at peace? It goes back to the peace piece. That's funny. But if we don't have peace in our mind, if we need things to be different for us to have contentment in the moment, then we can't change the norm, the status quo. We can't change the status quo vibe. If we can't change our internal vibe.
It's true.
So this next song is an offering to you to don't worry. So we'll talk at you in a moment. Enjoy. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. rapid fire round.
Okay. Taking responsibility for how you're feeling, not blaming others, and finding silence in your mind.
Okay. Really assessing the peace inside of your heart and using the RAIN technique to work on peace. RAIN, R, recognize. A, accept. I, investigate. N, non-identify. Letting go, become the peace.
Saying thank you in your mind repeatedly throughout the day, starting with the morning. First thing when you wake up, laying in bed, just start repeating the phrase thank you in your mind without attaching it to anything.
Seeing challenges as opportunities instead of setbacks.
Optimally breathing. As you breathe in, feel the ribs expand underneath your armpits. As you exhale, lengthen the exhale. In general, you're going to be slowing your breathing down per minute. Your heart rate will slow and your mind will clear.
Adding to optimal breathing, breathe into the low back bottom of the lungs, expanding the back of the diaphragm to massage your kidneys. When you massage your kidneys, you begin to release that pent up fear and worry and concern and anxiety inside of yourself.
Working with your posture, leading with your heart. Walk into a room. Imagine your head's being pulled up from above and bringing your heart forward, trying to lead with your heart as you walk into a room and see if you can shift the energy of that room.
Really asking yourself, hey, how may I serve? What makes me happy to think about being in service of others? What brings me joy? How can I sustain my service to others?
Choosing compassion instead of hatred, seeing the spark of God in everyone, including yourself.
Yeah. Assessing what is it that you're lacking. When I did this for myself, I found that I was lacking self-respect. And I turned that into a mantra and I tried to chant to myself, I respect myself as I enter a situation that generally triggers me.
As you're walking down the sidewalk or in the store, take 5 steps breathing in, 5 steps breathing out. As you inhale, repeat the phrase Om. As you exhale, repeat the phrase hum. As you're walking, 5 steps.
Om hum.
So hum. My bad. Thank you.
Well, tying into that one, I have found that breathing in and in my mind chanting Om and breathing out and in my mind chanting Om is super powerful.
Okay, being choosy with your mental diet, being moderate with your screen time. Take a break from the news. Take a break from Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and whatever else. Be choosy with your mental diet.
Does that include kitty videos?
Indeed, it does.
Darn it. Okay, so let me see here. We're really rapid firing.
I know, a lot of info here.
Yeah, so I know any listeners out there, maybe like, I think that was like 10 things I don't remember already. So you might have to listen to it again.
Yeah, that's true.
So we can slow it down a bit because we have a little bit of time to go. I feel like my favorite meditation technique at this time is remembering that vision of the void. And I wear a blindfold when I meditate to block out any light so I can actually get that dark, because I'm one of those people, and maybe you can relate if you're out there and you meditate a lot and you get the visuals, you know, like the swirly, colorful lights, and it's like, ooh. But actually that's just distracting. And I found that by suggestion of Dr. Joe Dispenza, that covering my eyes, I'm not distracted by that as much, but just being in the void and dropping identity and dropping the woes and Carrie's concerns dropping the passions, desires, hopes, fears, all of it, just dropping it all and floating in the abyss is a very great way to get to that peace.
Okay, lighten up your mind. Just remember that 100 years goes by like a flash of lightning. We are human beings, we are spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And just try to not take everything so seriously.
Absolutely. Last night, we went out and hung out with some friends, and we got home at about midnight, and I looked in the mirror and I said, why do I take everything so seriously? Can't I just lighten up? Ugh.
Yeah, life is much easier when we're lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
Much easier. And I think the reason it's easier is we're more hooked into reality. Because the reality is 100 years goes by quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all your ancestors. We're talking 30,000 years, 100,000 years of ancestors, 8,000, 10,000 generations. Come on, it goes by quick.
Yeah.
I mean, and to get all caught up on this detail and that detail and this detail, and we have the tendency, we make a mistake, we'll just beat ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is so serious. It's like, whoa. So we don't learn from our mistakes. So just lighten up, learn from your mistakes, and have some lighthearted consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of on that note, and going back to the challenges as opportunities tip, I have been listening to Shaheng Yi, who is the Shaolin Temple of Europe master teacher. And he says that each challenge is there for you to learn and grow from. And there's only two things not to do. And that is run away and beat yourself up.
Yeah.
So
Pay
if
my
you
children.
avoid those.
Yeah, so you have to face it.
Face it.
Or delay it.
No, this is what he said. He said, if you are not prepared and ready to confront whatever it was, whatever the challenge was, you don't beat yourself up. You step back, train, and then return. So basically, if you meet a challenge that you are not prepared for, that means step back. Don't run away. Step back, train, meditate, do qigong, yoga, breathing, walking, running, join a martial arts class, whatever it is, whatever training you need to do.
Play music,
hang out with friends, play games, whatever, laugh, have fun, do something.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, meet the challenge again.
All right. Yeah. Pema Chodron said the same thing about the challenge.
Right.
Like challenges are a part of life. That's the thing. We have to realize that that's what life is. It's a series of challenges. Mm-hmm. And it's how we deal with those challenges that really determine our overall success. Mm-hmm. And we want to deal with challenges gracefully. And it's a lot of it is the attitude we have when a challenge occurs. Mm-hmm. It's like, why me? Why me? Oh, no, not me. No.
What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah.
I didn't deserve this.
Yeah, right. That's not the most effective way of dealing with a challenge.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Please
but one of my worst liked words in the English language is deserve. If we could just erase that one.
Really? I use that a lot for myself.
Really?
Right? Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
Like recently, like my back was sore. I hurt my low back.
Yeah.
But I think I deserved it because I was overdosing on Facebook. Just in this like poor posture, I was like, oh, I knew it. Well, I deserve this. Okay, thank you, universe.
I'm sure there's a different way to say that. Like,
Why?
well, I did this to myself. would be another way to say it.
Right. It means the same thing, though.
Right. But usually it's used as, I didn't deserve this.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's another.
I suggest avoiding that word.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, and then if we're going down that path, and this is like a more controversial practice that I've been using for years, is just to try and see the perfection in things in your own life. I don't think I have any right to say anybody else's life is perfect, but I know my life is essentially perfect, and I kind of earn my life day to day. And tough time, good times, bad times, whatever it is, if I can see the perfection in it, then I'm able to learn and grow.
Yeah, and kind of on that note, we're all individual, and that's something Monty has been trying to get me to understand, that everybody gets to be treated as an individual, and you can't just across the board treat everyone the same, even though that's kind of been my way, is to treat everyone the same as best as possible. But point being, we were discussing that one person's idea of toxicity could be another person's idea of a joyful time, and so when somebody said, oh, so-and-so is toxic, rather than jump on board and say, oh, you're probably right, and be like, okay, so-and-so is toxic in your opinion to you. Yeah. And I can accept that that's how you feel at this time, but maybe I'm going to not jump on the bandwagon of judging that other person.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's another good skill, not judge. Be discerning rather than judgmental. And that's a big deal. Because if we judge others, no doubt we're going to judge ourselves as well. And the truth continuum fits into that as well. It's like you hear some gossip about somebody, instead of just believing it or not believe, put it on the truth continuum. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much do I believe this? And that kind of, using the truth continuum with your belief system is a very potent way at kind of honing in on reality more than we usually do. And use a truth continuum when you see something on the news, for example, or you hear gossip from your friend, or you have a thought in your mind. Put that on the truth continuum. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have you go more in depth in that, but we're almost out of time. So that's our rapid fire round for you. I hope you get something good out of that.
Thank you. That's probably the easiest practice. Just repeating that phrase.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to me because the people who like it, love it. Yeah. And the people who don't like it haven't actually tried it. So that's what I've noticed from people I work with and hearing about people that Monty works with, is people who love it, people who try it, love it, and the people who don't like it didn't really try it.
And I did get that practice from Muji, by the way. Yeah. He would tell his silent retreatants to just keep repeating the phrase thank you in their mind that entire weekend. But I'm just trying to take it to the next level and just try and repeat it every day for the rest of my life.
Awesome. That works. Yeah. Yeah, so what do we got going on here at the Heart Mind Center? We are taking a couple weeks off of Tai Chi. We'll be back November 18th. I'm pretty sure that's a Saturday. And I'm thinking that that's about it for events that I know of.
Yeah, we might have some music coming up in the near future.
Yeah, we'll announce that when we know it, unless of course it's before the next podcast. Yeah, so our sweet little town of Viroqua is getting tucked in for the winter. It's not as much going on here, but yeah, enjoy the weather, go for a walk, and grab a friend. We all need to go for walks. Let me tell you, if I didn't walk every day, I don't know where I'd be. So it's probably one of my absolute favorite things to do every day. Sometimes I do it 2 or 3 times a day, depending on if any friends want to walk with me. So get out there, even though it's cold, and enjoy the fresh air, smell the leaves falling down, and watch the winter blow in. Remember to be thankful for Thanksgiving and eat some good food. Love everyone. And, or at least have compassion, right?
Yeah, compassion
or as
for
Monte
all.
would say, divine spark.
Yeah, just try and see it.
Yeah.
Realize it. We're all these confused God creatures stumbling around, trying our best.
Oh my goodness. If we understood our power, if we really knew what our power was, what would we actually do?
Yeah, well, we'll find out in like 200 years when people realize their power.
Great. Well, maybe I'll be back.
Maybe it'll be sooner than that.
Yeah.
AI might teach us.
Anywho, that's another subject. But yeah, we're super grateful to have you be a part of our Mindflow Radio family.
Yes.
And I hope you have a great month and take it easy. Find your peace and answer the question, how may I serve?
Peace and love to you all.
Yep. Many blessings and much love.